We're reading from A Transcendental Diary, Travels with His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, October 1976 to November 1976, by Hari Sari Das. October 31st, 1976. Srila Prabhupada is still suffering quite severely from high blood pressure, and he has hardly been seeing anyone. He is not taking his morning walks on a regular basis, although he does sometimes circumambulate the temple several times before greeting the deities. I'm sorry, ma'am? Okay. Jai Shri Jai Gauranga Dhanani Ki Jai. Okay. Okay, well. How about Krishna consciousness is described by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, Man Mana Bhagavad Bhaktaha. Right. Krishna consciousness is described by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. Man mana bhava mad bhaktaha. Bhagavad Gita, 18th chapter, verse 65. That's all. Always think of me. Man manaha and bhava mad bhaktaha. Be ready always to serve me. Bhakta means where there is bhakti in Bhagavan, then bhakta. If there is no Bhagavan, and there are no activities to serve Bhagavan, there is no bhakta also. They are demons. So, bhakta means there must be Bhagavan. Sevya, sevaka, and seva. Sevya, sevaka, seva. Three things. Sevya means who is to be served. The master, sevya. And sevaka means the servant. If there is master and servant, then there is seva. This seva is called bhakti. Our service to Krishna is rendered according to our capacity. That's cool. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Our service to Krishna is rendered according to our capacity. Prabhupada told us, it is not regimented or restricted. Krishna is not stereotyped that he has to be served in this way only. No, Krishna can accept service in so many ways. There are Dvarasa Rasa, 12 relationships. Just like Krishna is enjoying when Bhishmadev was piercing his body with arrows. Sounds familiar, right? Okay, I gotta just keep going. It's okay, we have time. He was enjoying. This was rasa. Bhishma purposefully. He knows Krishna is the Supreme Lord. Still, he is devotee. He was giving him pleasure by throwing arrows on his body. So Krishna takes pleasure in that. Krishna does not take pleasure only when you throw rose flowers. He can take pleasure when you can pierce, if you are actually able to do that. So that is Krishna. In order to get to that platform, though, Prabhupada impressed upon us, we have to follow the proper process. You have to know how Krishna will be pleased. Then you are perfect. That you have to practice. First of all, in the Vidhi Marga, according to Shastra, according to the instruction of Guru. To accept Guru means to be inquisitive. Just like Sanatana Goswami, he approached Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I was minister. I was implicated in material activities. You have relieved me from this implication. Now please tell me what I have to do. Therefore, Sanatana Goswami was given instruction for 2 months continually what to do now. So that is called Saddharma Prachar. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, first wave, second chapter, verse 75. Not that a fashion I have made Guru, I have accepted Guru, my business is finished. No, Saddharma Prachar. The disciple must be ready to ask. Sanatana Goswami, he was a minister. He resigned the post. That does not mean he was silent, stopped all working. He was asking, what I have to do. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ordered him to come to Vrindavan and renovate the Vrindavan Leela. This place, before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's advent, this city, or this whole Vrindavan area, Radhakund, it was all field only, agricultural field. Nobody knew where Krishna had his pastimes. So it was the direction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that this is Radhakund, this is this, and the Goswamis, they did it. Although they were sitting underneath a tree, Raghunath Das Goswami had no opportunity to come to a nice temple like this. They came and the whole thing was only agricultural field. But they constructed gradually the Madan Mohan's temple, the Govindaji's temple, the Radhakund. They engaged fully, writing books and establishing temples. Then after them, others. Just like, first of all, Maharaj Mansingh. He carried out the order of Rupa Goswami. He spent so much in those days, lakhs and crores of rupees. You have seen the Govindaji's temple, broken. It is not possible to construct such a temple at the present moment, but it was done by the order of Sri Rupa Goswami. It is a system. If you want to see a saintly person, you must go there to serve him. To contrast this genuine mood of associating with a saintly person, Srila Prabhupada made an amusing, indirect reference to an incident on the train to Nellore on January 3rd of this year, when he was approached by some gentlemen for benedictions. Not that simply asking, give me your blessing, and why are you worthy for blessing? Cheap blessing. And blessing also, they do not know what is blessing. Blessing, they think that I have got some disease. If the saintly person gives me some blessing, I will be relieved from this disease. Now, why don't you go to the doctor, but you go to saintly person for curing your disease? This is Anyabilashita, that they do not know even how to approach a saintly person. So Mansingh was a very important man. He was a commander-in-chief of Akbar. And he approached Rupa Goswami, what can I do for you? So Rupa Goswami, he did not require that temple. But he wanted to engage this rich man to the service of the Lord. And he asked him that you construct a temple like this. Rupa Goswami was living very humbly. You know, at the Radha Damodar temple, his Bhajana ashram, he did not require a temple. Then Srila Prabhupada explained why he is putting so much stress on our making life members and collecting funds all around the world. The attacks on our society are on his mind, and to make sure that we are not daunted by them, he made it perfectly clear why he is engaging us in activities that may appear controversial to others. We are making members. Why? The idea is they'll spend the money for nothing in sense gratification. Take some money from them and engage in constructing temple. This is our consciousness. Not that we want to live in big palatial building and take subscription from others. No, this is not our policy. He'll spoil the money in sense gratification, so try to engage him. This is the policy, and exactly following the footprints of Goswamis, we do not require any money. We are quite confident Krishna will supply all the necessities, but to engage the whole world who are spending money in so many rascaldom way, if that money is engaged in Krishna consciousness, they'll get a chance. This is called Agyata Sukriti. He does not know how he is making progress in Krishna consciousness. Agyata, it is unknown to him. But the person who is trying to induce him to be engaged in Krishna service, that is his friend. Real friend. They are misunderstanding that these people are exacting money by force. Even it is done by force, it is good for the person who is contributing, but you should not use any such means. People will misunderstand. Okay, Jai Shri Prabhupada. So, are there any questions or comments? Or yes, sir.
Yes, Prabhupada. Yes. Rupa Goswami made this Radha Govind temple in Vrindavan.
Yes, sir.
To the Mansi, because he has a lot of Lakshmi. So nowadays in Sri Sampradaya, Tridandi Chinnajiyar Swami also he is the leader of Sri Sampradaya now, and there was a big rich person in Hyderabad, in Andhra Pradesh. I think he has property of $10 billion or something. So this Chinnajiyar Swami making a big statue of Ramanuja to showing that, like it's I forgot the exact word does it mean. So he is making a big statue of Ramanuja. It symbolizes the unity, like not everybody can chant the holy name of the Lord. Not only Brahmanas, even the Sudras also can chant the holy name of the Lord. Like he engaged him in the service, so he sponsored complete that project. It's almost 250 feet height or something.
Very nice. Hare Krishna. That's very nice. Thank you. That's wonderful. See? Great way to engage people's money in Krishna service. And they get books too. That's very nice.
Even
yes, sir.
The Perumal Group MD, like I forgot the name, he is the disciple of Radhanath Swami. Very rich person. So he also, Radhanath Swami also engaged him in the Juhu temple for sponsoring different projects.
Great. That's wonderful. There's so much we can do for Krishna, right? So many ways we can serve him. We were reading about that. So many different ways we can serve him.
As Srila Prabhupada engaged Ambarish Prabhuji in Mayapur temple.
Yes. Yeah. Use that Lakshmi. This person Ford, he may not have been a perfect person, but he's a very fortunate person because his great grandnephew or something, one of his relatives is a bhakta, a really nice bhakta, and is using that Lakshmi in serving Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he'll get some benefit, no doubt, right? That's in our philosophy. I'm not inventing, no speculation.
Even in ancient days also, when the wars, mainly as I know that there was a king Sri Krishna Deva Raya, he used to give big bundles of gold, diamonds, everything. In South India, almost every temple has some gold and jewels which is given by Sri Krishna Deva Raya.
Oh, nice. Hare Krishna. Well, that's awesome. I wish I had a lot of Lakshmi I could give to Krishna. But that's okay. I give him my service, my mind, my intelligence, my body. That's also good. Okay, how are we doing today? Srimad Bhagavatam, today we read from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5. Was heißt, Canto 5 heißt, was heißt das auf Deutsch? Es hat einen Namen, oder? Die, der schöpfende Antrieb. Der schöpfende Antrieb. Kapitel 2, Vers 16. Lese auf Deutsch. Weil ich muss mein Deutsch verbessern, irgendwie. Warte mal, oh ja, okay, yeah, you take. Dann, ja, it's okay, no, it's okay. Ich kenne das verstanden, irgendwie. Oh meine Güte. So schnell. Krishna hat gehört, oh. Sofort, nimmt das weg. Krishna, wow, okay. Verschwindet keine Zeit. Alright. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Kapitel 2 heißt die Taten Maharaj Agnidras. Natvang Tyajami Daitam Dijadeva Dattam.
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 Yasmin Manodrigapino Vaviyati Lagnam.
Yasmin Manodrigapino Vaviyati Lagnam.
Yasmin Manodrigapino Naviyati Lagnam.
Yasmin Manodrigapino Vaviyati Lagnam.
Mangcharu Sringi Arhasi Netum Mangcharu Sringi Arhasi Netum Anavritante.
Mangcharu Sringi Arhasi Netum Anavritante.
Mangcharu Sringi Arhasi Netum Anavritante. Mangcharu Sringi Arhasi Netum Mangcharu Sringi Arhasi Netum Anuvratante.
Mangcharu Sringi Arhasi Netum Anuvratante.
Mangcharu Sringi Arhasi Netum Anuvrat. Mangcharu Sringi Arhasi Netum Anuvrat. Mangcharu Sringi Arhasi Netum Anuvrat. Anuvratante. Mangcharu Sringi Arhasi Netum Anuvratante. Do you know this one, Prabhu? Hey, can you chant this third line nicely?
Mangcharu Sringi Arhasi Netum Anuvratante.
Mangcharu Sringi Arhasi Netum Anuvratante. Chitang Yata Pati Sarantu Sivasa Chivya.
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 Okay, I let the devotees chant.
Natvam Jaya Chi Natvam त्यजामि दयितं द्विजदेव दत्तं
Natvam tyajami daitam dvijadeva dattam
यस्मिन् मनोदृक् अपिनो न वियाति लग्नं
Yasmin manodrik apino naviyati lagnam
मां चारु शृङ्गेर अर्हसि नेतुम् अनुव्रतं ते
Mam charshi netu anuvratante
चित्तं यथा प्रतिसरन्तु शिवा सचिव्या
Chitam yata patisarantu shivas chivya
Natvam tvayami daitam vijadeva dattam
Natvam tyajami daitam dvijadeva dattam
Yasmin manodrikapino
Yasmin manodrikapino lagnam
Mam charu shringi asinitumavratatam
मां चारु श्रीनि अस्ति नेतुम् अनुव्रतं ते
Chitam yata prasisarantu jiva sachiyam
Chitam yata pratisarantu shiva sachivya
Natvam tyajami daitam dvijadeva dattam
Natvam tyajami daitam dvijadeva dattam
Yasmin manodrikapino naviyati lagnam
Yasmin manodrikapino naviyati lagnam
Charu shringi arhasi netum anuvratam te
Mam charu shringi ahasi netu anuvratam te
Chitam yata pratisharanti shiva sachivyaha
Chitam yata pratisarantu shiva sachivya Na nicht Tvam dich Tyajami Ich werde aufgeben Daitam sehr lieb Dvijadeva durch Brahman, den Hauptgott. Durch Brahman, den Hauptgott, der von den Brahmanas verehrt wird. Datam gegeben. Yasmin dem Manaha Geist, Drik Augen, Api auch, Naha mein, Naviyati geh nicht fort, Lagnam sehr angehaftet. Heißt das like ganz attached? Mam mich, Charusringi, O Frau, mit schön erhobenen Brüsten. Arhasi, du solltest Netum führen. Anuvratam, Nachfolger. Te, dein. Chitam, wünschen. Yataha, wo immer. Patisarantu, mag folgen. Shivaha, günstig. Sachivaha, Freunde. Übersetzung. Brahma, der von den Brahmanas verehrt wird, hat dich mir barmherzigerweise gegeben, deshalb habe ich dich getroffen. Ich möchte deine Gemeinschaft nicht aufgeben, denn mein Geist und mein Augen haftet an dir und können nicht abgewendet werden. O Frau mit schönen erhobenen Brüsten, ich bewundere dich. Du kannst mich hinbringen, wo immer du willst, und deine Freunde können mir auch folgen. Erläuterung. Nun gesteht Agnidra sein Schwäche offen ein. Er fühlt sich zu Purvachiti hingezogen und daher drückte er seinen Wunsch aus, mit ihr vereint zu sein, bevor sie sagen konnte, sie habe nichts mit ihm zu tun. Er war so sehr angezogen, dass er bereit war, in ihre Gemeinschaft überall hinzugehen, egal ob in den Himmel oder in die Hölle. Wenn man in Lust und den Einfluss von Sexualität vertieft ist, ergibt man sich vorbehaltlos den Füßen einer Frau. Sri Madhvacharya bemerkt in diesem Zusammenhang, dass jemand, der Spaß macht und wie ein Verrückter redet, alles Mögliche sagen mag, dass seine Wörter jedoch bedeutungslos sind. Interessant. Om Anjana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Mukam karoti vachalam pangam langayateki yat kripa tamaham bande Sri Guru Dinatarinam. Also, ich versuche auf Deutsch, ja? Ich muss mein Deutsch verbessern irgendwie. Sprechen Sie Deutsch ein bisschen? Ja.
Ich kann verstehen.
Cool, ganz cool. Okay, hier, was wir haben hier, ist ganz wichtig. Wir müssen dieses Erläuterung gut verstanden. Was hat passiert? Das heißt Agnidra, ja, der König Agnidra, hat an diese schöne Frau eingeblickt oder sie hat an ihr geschaut, he looked at her. Angeschaut. Und sofort in Lust ist er gefallen. War er gefallen, sofort, ja. Und es ist geschrieben, dass er wird irgendwas für ihr tun. Irgendwas. So, wenn man er war ein, ganz, he's a great soul, but für uns, ja, ist der Hinweis oder der Unterricht oder der Lehre, der Lesson, dass wir von hier lernen kann, ist mit dieser es ist wie ein Fall, der Trap, right? When we yeah, so I go for English. I'm sorry, but I am working on my German. I was reading this morning. But the point here is that this lust is so powerful that a person will give up their lifestyle to satisfy it. They will change their life. They will give up their lifestyle. So if we are practicing the example, right? If we are practicing spiritual life, and we happen to become attracted by somebody, right? If that person isn't also practicing spiritual life, sincerely practicing spiritual life, that means following four regulative principles and reading Srimad Bhagavatam, right? Then there's every opportunity, every chance that we will change our life. We will change our life just so we can be with that person. Because of the strong, strong attachment, we would be willing to give up our practice of spiritual life because we fall in love with somebody. We fall so deeply in love with somebody that and we trick ourselves. We're thinking we care for this person. We're going to help them. And we may care for them. But we're not helping them if we fall from our standard of behavior so that we can become suitable in their eyes. We're not helping them. We're not helping Guru. We're not helping Krishna. We're not helping us, ourselves. We're not helping. No one's being helped. Everyone's suffering. Because you drop your standard. That's all we have in spiritual life. This body, this human form of life, the purpose of this human form of life is meant for spiritual advancement. That's the purpose. So therefore, our sadhana is very important. It's just the foundation of our life. Even you may be poor, homeless. Yeah, so even if you're poor and homeless, if you have your sadhana, then it's okay. Because you have Krishna. Because you have Krishna. And as you advance in your sadhana, you get closer to Krishna. Right? So even if you have $1 million, if you don't, you cannot buy Krishna. You can use your money in devotional service, but you cannot buy Krishna. You cannot purchase him. He doesn't have a price tag. You cannot purchase him. Only actually you can, but you have to do it through service. Serving the spiritual master. That's how you purchase Krishna. So this is very important. So it's important that we don't give up our spiritual life just so we can satisfy our senses or somebody else's senses. That's also sense gratification. It's called extended sense gratification. And that is why in spiritual life, we have to satisfy this urge. This is a need of the body, the körper. Die Druck, the Macht des Körpers, right? But we make it arrange. We arrange it in such a way that we can do it with somebody who's also practicing spiritual life. And there's nothing unusual about that. That's happening all the time. People, it's even very basic that people of a similar socioeconomic background, they're choosing to marry each other. Okay, that's not really that important for us. But you can see how this is replicated also under in the material platform. This union on like values is replicated materially. So when we engage, right, on that level, when we engage in matrimony, in this Vedic yagya of marriage, what's it called? 7 steps together or something? Okay, it's okay. It's there. You take 7 steps of somebody on a fire. It's a name for that. Septa, something, or anyway. But you're supposed to do it in a regulated manner, and you're supposed to do it so that you can find a match with somebody who's also interested to practice spiritual life. In the same way that you're interested to practice spiritual life. And if they aren't, then you should not lower your standard. But you should maintain your standard and be patient with them. The most important thing, whether you are a man or a woman in spiritual life, don't neglect your sadhana. That is all that you have. Your money will go. You'll take birth again according to your karma. But if you maintain your sadhana, you might not have to take birth. And if you do, you'll be in the association. Somehow Krishna will bring you back. It'll work out nicely. You'll continue to make progress. As soon as you neglect your sadhana, it's like sliding backwards. So what's happening here is everything that he's saying, it doesn't mean anything. Because he's drunk. He's intoxicated. So we also become intoxicated. We have to be very careful. The sex impulse is like really heavy duty. For a long time, birth after birth, in the body of a man, in the body of a woman, in the body of a deer, in the body of an elephant, every body, in the insect, in the fly, they're all thinking about this. They're eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. And that propensity for procreation is very strong. That's why they eat. That's why they sleep, and that's why they defend. It's at the center. So don't pretend it doesn't exist. Don't think you can conquer it. You can't. You have to direct it. You have to direct it in the proper way, in the proper direction. You cannot conquer it. Don't think like that. You have to direct it in Krishna consciousness. You have to direct that energy. You can do that. That is possible, and that is allowed. We're allowed to do that. That is prescribed. It is recommended to redirect that energy. So you have to use intelligence. Intelligence means there is no material attachment. If you look in the Bhagavad Gita, 10th chapter, verses 4 and 5, described intelligence. The definition is given. The power to analyze a thing in proper perspective. What does that mean, proper perspective? It means there's no influence of material attachment or bias. It means you're not intoxicated when you try to understand it. Don't make those decisions when you're intoxicated with lust. Make them when you're sober-minded, or have somebody you know who's sober-minded help you make that decision. It's very important. It can affect the rest of your life. It will affect the rest of your life. In some way or other, it will affect even your next birth. So don't underestimate it. You're thinking you can conquer it or deal with it. And no, you have to simply funnel it properly. Engage it in a proper manner. And do that. Do it. You know, we say in English, get all your ducks in a row. It means arrange all your material affairs. Jai Shushi Vijay Baranadani Jai Shujai. It means that you should arrange all of your material affairs, and then you should manage that. Manage that affair. If you're young and you have that, if you haven't finished with that yet, you know, some people, it's kind of like, okay, maybe they don't want to manage that affair because it's like, so much of the time has gone by, and it's a real burden. That's why you do it when you're young, because you have all that energy. And, don't worry. It'll work itself out. But yeah, so you have to do that. Don't delay. Don't say, I'm going to get over this. You won't. It'll take you 30 years. No, you won't actually ever get over it. Unless you're really sincere and you're chanting nicely. And reading Bhagavatam every day, Bhaktivedanta purports. That's so important. That's like one pillar of sadhana. One pillar of sadhana is reading Bhaktivedanta purports every day as a regular daily function. That's one of the pillars of sadhana. Because then you're having that association of Srila Prabhupada. His instructions. He's not in the mode of goodness. He's Sura Sattva, like Krishna, Vasudeva state. And it rubs off. We get our mind fixed again. You have to, so then when you do make this decision, bring your Bhagavatam with you. And implement regular reading of Bhagavatam into your, what do you call this thing? A partnership or union? Right. So I know some people are spacing out. That's okay. It's all right. Just try to remember a few things. Listen. Just listen. Just try to listen. So this is really what's going on here. This is the purport. And if you hear somebody talking to you, the other side of this, story is that when you hear somebody speaking so many things, recognize if they're influenced by lust, it means nothing. 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 Like water. Look at the holes between my fingers. Water just flows through. No problem. Those words mean nothing. Nobody's immune. Bedingt. Wir sind bedingt. We have to understand that. We are bedingt. We have to accept it and deal with it. We can eat for Krishna, we can make children for Krishna, we can do all these things in the body, we can use it in Krishna's service. The body is not an enemy, right? These urges just have to be dovetailed in the service of the Lord. That's all. And do it with intelligence. Don't wait until you become overpowered by lust and you make a foolish decision, ruin your whole life, have to take birth again. Bummer. Plus all that accrued karma from a mismatch. You know? That's not going to go down well. Okay, this is also what's very nice in the Upazetsun. Is so this gentleman, Maharaj Agnidhar, he was performing austerities because he wanted a good wife. We can learn from that. You know, really fix up your mind and Krishna will send you someone appropriate for you. Have your mind fixed up nicely. Fix up your mind. Fix up your service. Then you get a more qualified, match. Because you're more qualified. So this spiritual life is austere. And even in this life, if we are, wherever you are in this life, sadhana is the most important thing. Sadhana is the most important thing. We are our sadhana. That is what we are. Through sadhana we get through. It is a way, it is a means, it is the end. Service is at the end and service is on the way there. That sadhana is so important. Bhaktivedanta purports, right? Bhaktivedanta, listen. Bhaktivedanta purports. It's one of the pillars of sadhana. It supports the sadhana, right? Like a column supporting the sadhana. What else is there? There's chanting. This is also a pillar of sadhana. So first get your sadhana straight and solid. And then make this decision, work it out, organize it properly so that you don't foolishly engage with somebody who is underqualified. Right? Okay. Because that way the two people, look, he says, I will go anywhere with you. Well, I remember one time I said that about somebody. Luckily they weren't around. My very good fortune. But the point is that it goes away eventually, right? If you keep scrubbing. That's the whole purpose. We're supposed to clean the heart. It cleans. The heart can be clean if you just keep scrubbing. You have to scrub hard. You have to work on that. Chanting should be done nicely. And reading regularly. Anyway. So that's what's happening today. We have more time. I will read... Are there any questions? I mean, I could read another verse. It's also got a very short purport. But maybe there's a question.
I have one small question.
Yes, sir.
Many people say that marriages are made in heaven.
Uh-huh. Marriage is made in heaven?
Yeah. Many people say like
A devotee saying that?
But something, we cannot expect that a devotee can get married, only a devotee.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Right. Oh, of course not. I won't marry a devotee. I'll make her a devotee.
So, what is the, how you can handle that one when you get non-devotee?
Right.
Because like a astrological things or something happened, you married to someone who is not a devotee. What will you do?
Right. So then what we have to do, right? Back to it, right? We have to maintain our sadhana. Right? You cannot force other people to take to Krishna consciousness. But you should not lower your level of sadhana. You have to encourage them by, this process works. If you read the Bhagavatam every day, it works. You will start to want to chant Hare Krishna. You will want to chant Hare Krishna. You will want to get up in the morning early, bathe, chant and read. You will want to do that. The process works. It's because by reading the Bhaktivedanta purports, you're associating with that Vasudeva state. You're associating with that Vasudeva state. It will rub off on you. You will want to. So all you can do, don't lower your own sadhana. right? Just by some trick of fate, you married to somebody who maybe was a prostitute, right? They have some bad habits, some rough karma. But they want to make a change in their life. Don't lower your sadhana and learn from them their bad habits. Maintain your position and teach them by example. Don't force anybody. But if it doesn't work, don't lower your sadhana. Anyway, use your intelligence also, right? But that you should really cherish your sadhana. For Shetson, value your sadhana. You should value it. That's really important. Only by maintaining your sadhana can you save anybody. If you cannot swim, you cannot save somebody who's drowning. Right? Don't go out there and try to save a drowning person if you are not able to swim. You will drown. They will bring you down. That's what happens when you're drowning. You grab onto whatever is above you and you pull it down. It's rough. Drowning is a difficult situation. It's a difficult ordeal. Was that good? Is that all right? So the main thing is don't compromise your own sadhana, right? But you have to somehow, you cannot force them, you have to be a good example. You have to just give them medicine and slowly it will work. That's called faith. Mm-hmm. Right, but don't compromise your sadhana, right? Don't eat meat, right? Okay. Don't drink alcohol. Use cannabis, anything like that. All right. Yeah. It gets better when it goes further away. And it gets further away. Yes, sir.
So we heard that most of the karma is taken away through the guru when you get initiated in the line. And still, we can see that, for example, some devotees, they may have karma where they get very rich easily, some struggle very hard to get money for Krishna, but they don't. And others, they're very successful in marriage very easily and find the perfect match, and others, they search and they always fail again. So there must be some leftover of the karma still, which is the cause for this. And this is.
So there are three kinds of. Thank you, sir. So you finished with the question, though. I'll let you finish. You have some question that's about why is this happening, kind of question.
Well, it's more is karma having an influence on that?
All right. So first of all, there's different kinds of karma. There's aparabdha and parabdha, and I tell you honestly, I'll just be very honest with you. This is not I'm not really studied this nicely, but it's in the Nectar of Devotion. And one type of karma is going away when you take initiation. The guru is inheriting. But not the other kind, right? Mm-hmm. Right. Now the other part, if you look at the teachings of Lord Chaitanya in the introduction or in the preface, Prabhupada writes that when you make this decision to surrender to Krishna, Krishna personally takes control of your karma. And even, he doesn't have to really play by those rules of karma. He can give you something which you didn't something which wasn't there. He can say, oh, this will help him. I'm taking it all away. Thank you. Now pay obeisances. Yeah, so he can take your karma. And he can give you something which you didn't have lined up for you because you decided to surrender. He wants you. He said, I want to surrender. He goes, good. Fine. Holy cow. Come. So this is what we have to do, though. You have this was going to appear for you, but it will make you difficult because you'll become very proud. You'll become very envious. So I'm not giving it to you. Right? I'm giving you this instead, which will make you suffer, because by that suffering, eventually you will cry out to me, and that's what I'm waiting for. What does that mean? Lodium. What does it mean, lodium? Greed. So much you do anything. You have to have that. It's in the Nectar of Instruction. You have to have that greed. You want it so much, you'll do anything for it. You're always thinking about it. Where did it go? Where did it go? And then it's gone, and it's like, oh my gosh. That's what it means. You have to have that greed. But he has to make a situation, an elaborate arrangement for you to surrender. Because we are so slow. So he makes an elaborate arrangement. And then and then it's really difficult, and you cry out, and then finally you get it. But why do some people, those people are very fortunate. They're in the best position. Queen Kunti says that. I'm not inventing it. It's in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Queen Kunti says it. She says, let these difficulties happen again and again, so that I will always be praying to you. All right. I guess it's 9:15, 8:15, 45. Something more is there? That difficulty you have, you should take it in your advantage. Don't think, Krishna, why? Don't do that. He's a person. He's your best friend. And you're, kind of being rude to him, complaining about the good fortune he's given you. And if you have a nice, wealthy situation, a good life, then use your intelligence, have some maturity, practice charity, do things for Krishna with that opportunity. And if it's difficult, then surrender to the process. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I would like to share a small comment. I would like to mention a comment that Krishna gives the luck, something like that. So there was a woman in like 25 years, woman or girl. She loved a person a lot. So basically, if somebody hears the Rukmini Kalyanam, like marriage between the Rukmini and the Krishna, even though on her fate somebody written that she will get a bad husband, by hearing that one, the karma will change. She will get good husband. So in that way, she heard many times that Rukmini Kalyanam. She loved a person very much, but unfortunately, she couldn't get the marriage with him, who she loved a lot. So what happened after that 6 months? She married to some other guy. Who preached this story, like whoever heard about the Rukmini Kalyanam, they will get nice husband. She went there and she asked, what is this? I heard many times I do Kalyanam also, like marriage for Krishna and Rukmini. I got married to some other person, but I didn't get to who I love. He mentioned that, do you know that what is going to happen? Let's see why Krishna got you married to some other person. After 6 months later, she came back once again and she mentioned that the person who I love, he died in an accident.
Ooh.
Now she got the marriage with another guy. They both went to Canada.
Oh wow!
Look, if she might have married to that person today, at the age of 26, she will become a widow.
Yeah, Krishna protected her. So listen to that story of Rukmini marrying Krishna. Krishna marrying Rukmini. If it's written in scripture, you should have faith and you should read it and follow it. Yeah. Yes, sir.
I think I technically heard that when the partner dies that you married, then I think you shouldn't really marry someone new. Is it like this in the Vedic system or?
I've not read that anywhere, but I think that's probably the Vedic system. However, at the same time, really, these instructions are meant for being applied on us, not on other people. And I know probably don't mean to be judgmental, right? But there may be people who have gotten married more than once, and there shouldn't be any shaming going on, right? We have to avoid that. Shaming other people because of things they did in the past, which they didn't know about it, for whatever reason, they were forced into a situation, willingly or unwillingly. And the important thing here is that, maybe it's probably written in scripture like that. But the important thing is that we should not judge other people. In fact, unless your intention is to enhance the welfare of others, you should not find fault with others. That's by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. This fault finding is, whoa, my gosh, very difficult. It really just ruins your life, your spiritual life. Ruins it. And the only time when you're allowed to do that is if your intention is to enhance the welfare of others, to protect them. Only within that guideline. There should be no taste for fault finding. Not that you're doing that, but I know that, see, this is what can happen, right? Alongside, so I say that, it's probably true. But at the same time, I have to say also, look, there are people who have done that, they shouldn't be shamed. So we have to be careful. Not that you have bad intention, but I might have bad intentions. In my heart, there's probably all kinds of bad intentions. So I have to protect myself. So I acknowledge that, but at the same time I have to acknowledge that, look, these people shouldn't be judged. Only let me judge myself. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I have the fault finding in my life. I experienced that if I try to find a fault in somebody, Krishna makes arrangement everything so that I will go in that situation and he will make to remember what I was thinking about that person.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, very, very, you don't want to do that. You don't want to be hurting people, right, with your thoughts. That's pretty heavy. Is that what you're saying, basically? Yeah. Anyway, right.
If you find something fault, then you also will be going to...
Oh, you get that fault. Right, the fault you find in others will take shelter in you. Yeah, right, be careful. No fault. No fault finding. No fault finding. Find only faults in yourself. Then you can cut all your faults. Right? Train that creeper, protect it. Build a big wall around it with holes so the sun can get in. Alright. Without anything else? Everybody satisfied? Do you want to say something, sir?
No.
Alright. Ladies? Okay. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Hare Krishna.